I'm by myself right now, so all right. Let's get all my son stuff off here. All right. Anything else? All right. How's everybody doing? It's been a while. Jeez, it's been a while since I've been on here. So, not really, because last week I shot a video and then it it didn't it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to pan out. So let's just say I thought I was going to say something a little bit better for that, but it didn't. I tried to edit it and cut just some stuff out of it and change it up, and for whatever reason, the way it goes, I couldn't do it to my phone, so I'd have to use the first Premiere. So if I get it done at some point, I get it done at some point, and I'll put it up. But for now, excuse the pause in a couple weeks. So I don't know if I've told you guys. So Sarah's pregnant. I'll just let that out there. So she's hallelujah. It's amazing. We don't know, won't find out any of that stuff. So we'll just pretty much ride it out. We're gonna try and go pretty much unassisted. We might inquire on a midwife or something. But it's a crazy world. So I don't know what we choose or who we trust or anything like that. So um, but it's been a wild ride for the last couple months. Not really, but I mean, it is what it is in the world. So pretty much just bringing a baby into it. We've been kind of hustling, bustling, and and then just dealing with new mommy stuff, you know. So she's dealt with being tired, not tired, all the different stuff. So forgive me for the pause, but I'm gonna get back to it. Sarah and Josh are running to, I don't know where they are, but it's just me today. So I'm gonna kind of not wing it, but I've got some stuff planned. Since I haven't done this, I'm pretty much going to. I'm gonna focus. I know the last one I did was focused on pelvic tilt, and I even think that that was the video that I didn't post up. So I'm going to revisit some of the pelvic tilt stuff and go through all that. I think that's why I was, I spent like not much time, but I did like try and get the thing to, spend some time getting it to over to the computer to my phone, try and use that one editing software. But so let's go over some pelvic tilt stuff. I know I always need it. We always need it. And it's always a big question of what it is and different things like that. So I'm almost positive that that wasn't the video. I mean, that was the video that I did last week because I included a bunch of stuff in there. So I'm going to try and salvage that. If nothing else, I will cut pieces of it and then do voiceovers on it. So we still get the content from what I was doing. But that's kind of the sad part because talking half the time when I really get on a roll, I can bust out some good info. And, sometimes the actual physical things that I'm doing really aren't as powerful if you don't have the words that I'm actually saying to walk you through what I'm doing. So let's not waste any more time. We'll go over some pelvic tilt first. What is a pelvic tilt? If this is your first time watching or if you're sharing this video with somebody, a pelvic tilt is I'm just going to set this mic down and start walking us through it. Say a pelvic tilt, your pelvis and everything would be right in this region right here. And if you got what most people do, then you would be more like this, okay? I'll pull this tight. So when you get that curve of the back, you get that butt up, then everything's dropped here, then you're basically stuck in an anterior pelvic tilt. Now, if you had a posterior tilt, you'll almost never see it, but it's somebody who's like old or injured. Their butt is tucked up under them. They walk like this. And there's a lot of people out there who think they have a posterior pelvic tilt and they got like a big butt on them and they're like this and they think they have one. You don't. You'll almost never see it. It's typically always when somebody's old or injured. So that's that's really the main focus of looking at the pelvic tilt, is seeing, you kind of follow the belt line, you know, so you kind of look like, is it right here? And if it's anterior, you'll see it'll tip like that. And if it's posterior, do you notice how my stomach went from like looking, look, it makes me look like I got like a pooch there. When you go like that, it makes the best people look like I have a pooch, because it relaxes here and it drops the weight of the abdomen forward. So when you fix your pelvic tilt, then you end up having your nice flat stomach again. So sometimes if you have this little pooch you think there, then it's not always a pooch. Posterior is going to be like really tucked and caged, round back. The you know, everything in the belt line is coming up. Okay, so pelvis anterior dropped in the front, pelvis posterior up in the front. Okay, pelvis anterior dropped in the back, pelvis anterior up in the front. Okay, so you're gonna, or I mean, I didn't even say that. So pelvis anterior is gonna be, you know, butt is dipped down, or posterior, sorry, forgive me, because I messed that up. Okay, pelvis posterior, you're gonna say it's gonna be tipped up. Okay, and then posterior, it would be tipped down. Okay, so that's what you see in the front, just to start over. Okay, and then in the back, you know, pelvis anterior is gonna be butt up, and pelvis posterior is gonna be butt down. Okay, just like this. So now that you have that, one sec. That time of year. I will be working on myself and stretching and stuff, and I can already feel like just a little dryness. So that we don't have to stop anymore. Okay, so when you have a anterior pelvic tilt, what are you going to deal with? Typically, you're going to have back pain because you got that curve of the back, all right? You're going to deal with like roundness in the back, so you could actually deal with kyphosis. You could deal with pain in your mid-back, your shoulders, everything. And once you get this, it's dropping us forward, you see? And then it's going to push forward on your shoulders. It's going to drop us here. It's going to make it really, really hard for you to stand up tall and have good posture. You're also going to get, you know, when you're like this, it's going to be like quad dominant. You're putting all the pressure on the front of your legs. But it also pulls up on this whole chain here and pushes it into the leg. Therefore, you're seeing on the front of your leg more hamstring and quad. Okay? So when you fix that and you're not like this, and you pull it back, and then you go straight, then you're going to put all the weight back through here. And you're going to take and pull that weight up off the front of it. So you won't be overstimulating the front side of your body. You're also going to deal with, you know, you might have hip issues instead of low back issues. It all depends on which way the path of tension develops. Okay? And then you're going to deal with some type of, you know, people complain about the IT band issues. IT band issues come from tension in the leg. The IT band is a balancer for the rest of the leg. So if it clamps down, it's clamping down to make all the rest of the tension in the legs even all the way around, okay? So you have tension in your IT band, basically your abductors, the legs, muscles on the outside of your leg, and then the IT band sitting right there. Then you roll the rest of your leg, and guess what happens? The IT band doesn't have to clamp down to even that force out as much, and therefore you're going to be able to relieve the pressure that you feel in the IT band. The IT band is not a functioning piece of tissue. It's connective tissue that responds to force against it. If it gets pulled on, it pulls back, okay? So it's going to clamp down on the side of your leg. You're going to feel the rest of those muscles around here. They're all going to feel tension. You release these, you release this, okay? That's what you need to focus on. But you will get tension down the side of your leg. You get this big old knot right through here. You get knee pain, all different types, you know, whichever way the tension develops. You're typically, with an anterior tilt, you're going to get more pain in the knee on the front side. If you get it inside the back, you're probably going to get it like more on the top of the calf, because it'll be pulling up and it would eventually have worked its way down there. And if you're somebody who gets knee pain in the back of your knee, most likely what you're also going to be looking at some point in your life is Achilles issues, shin splints, or shin splints would be more of a front knee pain. Yeah, because it would work its way down the shin on the front. You could get it from the back too, though. But typically the one that you get from the lower is going to be Achilles issues, and you get plantar fasciitis. But if you're somebody who deals with, like I said, front of the knee pain, you're going to probably get shin splits with it more often than not. And then you would get like upper arch pain, like pain on the top of your arch. What else? So, I mean, a posterior tilt, like, let's be honest. If you have a posterior tilt, I and you're like this, your entire body is completely wasted. All right. That's why if you're injured, you'll present like that a lot of times. Why? Because your body is like dang near crippled. So if you are like that, then you need to work on everything. I'm just going to be straight up with you. Most people that have anterior pelvic tilt do it because they're doing things to cause it. You know, there's a lot of old people who sit and stand and travel for long periods of time. The thing is, when you good crack, when you do that and you're sedentary, then you end up like this because you don't have anything to pull it back. But when you're not sedentary, or you're less sedentary than somebody who's like old or whatever, and you're not doing that like all the time, then I'm not saying all old people do. Don't get mad at me. But if you're 0 to 100, meaning you just stop and do your things for long periods of time, sitting, standing, traveling, whatever it is, and then boom, you get up and you have like you do a bunch of stuff. That's like what humans do now, and that's the worst thing that we could possibly do. Okay, so when you look at things like that, then you look at like your day-to-day habits, you look at different things like that, and you can see also how to assess proper change. Because when you deal with sitting for long periods of time and everything like that, you can simply fix a posterior tilt by just moving. That's why old people should always move. If they're told that, you know, your knee's messed up, they are, you know, some knuckleheads still encourage old people to sit and don't do much. No, you need rest, just rest, don't move it. No, you should move it. Your fascia, like I always preach, is a hydraulic pump for water all through the body. Okay, it's mechanical though, meaning if you don't move, it doesn't pump. Okay, it needs to be mechanically pumped, meaning you have to like pump the motor for it. So you just move an old person, give them like, you know, ground up chia seeds in their water or their juice or whatever it is, then you're gonna have like a phenomenal change. Not only are they gonna dump a bunch of waste out of their colon, you'll physically see the chia seeds. It's hydrating the backup waste and it's moving it out, getting you to eliminate faster, which is going to create so much positive benefit in the body. But you're also going to see like this person just flip around just from some simple movements, you know, hydrating their layers, getting up all of a sudden, like they just do some basic stuff and they're like, whoa, why is this? You know, why did I have a headache last night? And I loosened up a bunch of stuff here, but when I did, I just took my neck and moved it back, or my head, and turned my neck and moved it back and just started grinding into the parts on my head that felt the worst. Yeah, it sucks when you do it. It doesn't feel good. You know, you do it, it's like, it's like making my, you know, you're just setting it off, but it is what it is. If you go into those layers within seconds after releasing some of this stuff up here, I use the hard ball, my big mobilitas ball. I basically used it. I need to turn this and do that. That's what I should do some today and show you guys. Wow, I'll do that next week because I just did it in my neck. Yeah, that'd be kind of like the last thing you'd want to do is do it 2 days in a row. But I use the mobilitas ball on the side of my neck, release some of the stuff, and then I just ground into the spots that hurt. Common sense, right? Or is it not? I don't know if it's common sense because the entire world would sit there and suggest that if there's a pain indicator, we stay away from it. And I say that's really so far from the truth, it's ridiculous. You use the pain indicators that the body's telling you, like a designated driver that's inside, like hitting punch buttons and teaching us what's going on. But if you don't listen to it, guess what happens? The body's going to suppress it with scar tissue, which takes one pain signal and spreads it out 7 times, 7 times, 7 times, until you do enough sevens, and then you don't have that pain signal anymore, but it doesn't mean the problem's there. Then you continue to leave it, and then that tissue will then calcify and harden. And when it does, then you're going to basically stop the signal from reaching that area. Therefore, you can't facilitate it. And if you go into a motion too far or anything like an athlete does, and then bam, that's when people fail. That's why old people get in and, oh, funny thing, I just reached across to open the door for my wife, and I blew my rotator cuff. And I'm always like, that's way after the fact. That's the time bomb that went off with everything that you set up beforehand. No, I'm telling you, it was right then. No, it wasn't. And you know, I'm always very gentle with them, but I just always tell them, you know, the path, the tension builds up and it becomes harder, and then as it hardens, you're losing the connection between your brain and that area. And then if you happen to slip down the steps or have any kind of drastic all at once kind of thing happen, then you're going to see right away that it pretty much is it's impossible. That's what I was trying to think of another word to say that would actually explain more, but It's impossible. Okay, the body can't fire that area. That's why it hardened it, to protect you, so you don't move too far in a range. And then, but the body assumes that we would assess these things. That's what we're supposed to intuitively do, but we don't. We've been taught to we've been dumbed down like crazy. You can get me on a rant on that forever. From academics to TV to literally everything. To the iPads having, their antennas on the bottom, so they would definitely cause major fertility issues, pancreas issues, and everything like that. Hence why Steve Jobs died, because he wouldn't take his laptop off his pancreas. Doesn't matter how much holistic stuff you do if they're sending massive frequency on probably the most powerful Mac in the world he had, right to his pancreas. Like, you can't compete with that. So the body expects us to assess these things, and we don't. Okay, we don't take into a fact that, like, that pain is telling you in the very beginning, here it is, here it is, here it is. Oh, my feet hurt. Go put better shoes on. Are they better? No, they're worse. Especially for your issues, they're terrible. They have a big sole that makes your feet flatten out because the foot is trying to be a sensor. It's trying to hit the ground and hear something. But if you put a big muffler on the bottom of your shoe so it feels nice and comfortable, not functional, then you have effectively ruined your body's ability to sense and hear. Now, it's like this. This is what's happening every step. Versus when you get into like some barefoot shoes, which you just look anyone up, there's tons of them now. Make sense? Versus this. From the muffled big sole shoe that looks nice and pretty, but stops all of our function. It takes your arch from this to like this, so your body can get more things touching the ground so it can hear better. That's where flat feet come from. Read the book Born to Run. I mean, there's many other things you can study, but that one kind of gives you like Cliff Notes, nutshell, breakdown of it. Pain is an indicator for you to take action and do something to fix that pain. If you don't, the response mechanism is scar tissue will build up and absorb and suppress that nerve, okay? Think of it as a garden hose. You take a samurai sword all at once. Water starts shooting out, and you just went over and went, water goes, then it finally stops shooting. But then that area gets no love, okay? You didn't go get an attachment and take the two pieces and put them together and clamp them and create the flow again. So you have this stop where the flow is trying to break through and it can't. So what happens? It's not going to leave this pumping energy, so it caps it. Calcified tissue, it hardens it. And when it does, it is literally shut off the ability for the body to connect from the head, in the brain, to the nervous system, and out through the nerves into that spot. Brain is the computer, okay? The nervous system is our motherboard. The wires are all our nerves, and then our organs would be the components, like a hard drive, CD-ROM. Okay, you have to think of the body like that. That's literally the way it works, okay? And there's a lot more stuff that goes to it, considering one cell has the framework of New York City mapped out. One cell. There's trillions of them. So if you look at the response mechanism and everything that you should be paying attention to into your body, if you look at those things, then you would assess everything and you would realize a lot more. One, you would never become this big Band-Aid, more or less. The more tissue that you add to your body, one, you're getting heavier. You ever wonder why you just gain weight? Oh, I can't be that 126 anymore. I'm 40 years old. That's a bunch of crap. I'm here to tell you, okay? Because if I took all this muscle that I gained, which is a whole lot from high school, I used to be a lot bigger than this, and this is my sustained weight. I like it. And I go through phases where I do workouts and stuff. My job is like a workout, but this is like my sustainable weight when I'm really not working out. I'm just doing my job. And if you take all that off, though, then in reality, I'm losing my train of thought. I think they just got off every time that happens. I always think like, oh, gotta pause it, So anyways, okay, let me think. We're talking about, I can't just go back on it. So anyways, we'll talk about it, okay? Um, the overarching, the whole thing I want to talk about on this, I love my space again. All right. So, please don't look on my face. They dropped the food off. Now we don't go shop, we just have it delivered. So, legitimate brain fart because I had, is this still on?
Yep.
All right, good. I heard him and I was like, oh, I know it's gonna go. Should I pause it? So overall, what I'm trying to like say in this is these pains are indicators, but if you leave them alone, there's a process that takes place in the body. Okay. And if you get into the point where you have, you know, a bunch of spots, that's what it was. I knew I'd talk myself through it. Okay. You ever wonder why you can't get back to that weight? The thing is, like, if I took all this muscle that I gained and went back to like the weight I was in high school, okay, you could still build up 10 pounds of inflammatory waste, scar tissue, calcified tissue, thickened fascia, like all these different things, toxicity in your colon. That's why you can't get your weight back down. It's not impossible to do it. Now, there's going to be certain things that are probably going to change, maybe a couple pounds relative to your size. If you're like a 250-pound giant bodybuilder, okay, don't take it as generalized. So if you take all this stuff off and go back, in reality, that's the weight, okay? So when you think about things like this, when you think about like, when I foam roll, when I do this, I'm not just shaping my body, making it look better, making it feel better. You're literally losing weight that you don't want. You are causing the body to break down certain fascial connections, certain things like that. It's going to make them lighter. It's going to make them thinner. It's going to make them weigh less. It's going to make them feel like less. It's going to make them move like there's less in there. Okay, these things that are in there inhibiting you, they take up weight. They cause the body to work slower, to break down. So when you remove these things, when you start cleansing, when you detox regularly, when you do parasite flushes, and you see the amount of waste that comes out of you, and then, like my bodybuilder buddy, right? Cordell, he always cracked me up. He did a cleanse and he lost like a whole bunch of weight, right? He didn't look like he lost a bunch of weight. He lost a ton of waste out of his gut. And I'm pretty sure this is Cordell. If you see this Cordell and it wasn't you, then tell me, and I can put my foot in my mouth. Some bodybuilder friend of mine, doesn't really change the story. And he basically lost all this weight, he couldn't get 9 pounds of it back. In 2 weeks, in 9 pounds, he couldn't get it. I think he lost like 14 or 15 pounds. So he couldn't get it back. He was freaking out. I can't get this weight back, man. Like, I'm going to go on stage, I'm the, laughing stock. I'm like, dude, you can gain 9 more pounds and step on stage in the same class. And those guys are going to go, there's no drug that can do that. It's going to be like cheating. Because the truth is, these things that are inside of your body that you allow to inhibit your body cause pain, cause gut issues, cause headaches, cause lack of mobility, cause irritable bowel syndrome, cause acid reflux, all the things that we think about. IT band syndrome, tendon syndrome, piriformis syndrome, IT band syndrome, all the syndromes, which are just medical liability clearances in reality for something they don't want to tell you how to figure out because it'll cost them too much money. And that's the truth, because it's absolutely ridiculous all around that, I can go into stuff that's been there for 20 years and evaporate it in a couple hours. So anyways, if you want a cheap like code, so to speak, when I'm a video gamer back in the day, stuff like that. So cheat codes were like you punch them in, you can get unlimited lives, you get all this stuff. So if you want like cheat codes, like hacks for your life, this is the stuff nobody talks about. How full moving and stretching your body effectively and properly can break down things that would lighten the body, increase metabolic function, reduce metabolic waste, and in turn you're going to look better because we just shaped you, feel better, weigh less, feel lighter. You would have all these perks, all these things that would come in, all these changes that would happen just from full moving and stretching your body into a perfect alignment. I think stopping the gym for a month and making this your 5-day routine would not only net you probably some of the best harmony you've ever had in your life, and I mean in everything, peace of mind, clarity. You believe the thoughts that were coming to my head after I broke all this up and cerebral blood flow went back to my brain. If your brain or any nerve part of your body, which your brain is a huge part of the nervous system, if any part of that feels a lack of circulation, basically your hose of fuel going to the engine of your body, it's going to pull the function back. So if I don't get as much blood flow going to my brain, I'm not going to talk like I'm talking right now. I'm not going to think like I'm thinking right now. So you need to think about those things too. And then when you think about parasitic waste, you think about bacteria, mucus. Mucus is the disease of all disease. Too much mucus in your pancreas is type 2 diabetes. Too much mucus in your respiratory is bronchitis. Too much mucus in this, too much mucus in this, too much mucus in this. It's all mucus, okay, guys? Lower your lymphatic load, which is your mucal load. You'll be lighter. Your metabolism will burn. Your factory will be a lot more efficient. And because of that, everything gets better. Your skin gets better. Your largest detox organ, your largest organ, period. Your gut gets better, flatter, tighter, more ripped, more puff, whatever you want. Your whole existence becomes better. Cerebral blood flow, pituitary response, pineal gland response, you know, all these things that people are actively trying to push through. Fix your body. Seriously. Don't let these fools at the, you know, the big elites, you know, we'll just call them that feller medicine, starting with a rocker. That's about the only thing he's off of. Off his rocker, feller medicine. It's really just, it's changed since then. 1930, you know, American Medical Society, it changed everything. It got people to think everything was an old fairy tale, wives' tale. It removed so much from academia. It added so much to academia. And the truth is, overall, none of it makes sense. It's all illogical, just like the whole thing we're dealing with right now. None of it makes sense. And the diagnosis, plain and simple, will never make sense. Look at the work of the Nobel guy who made the test. He tells you that it's 100% room for error. He tells you that it can't identify what they're saying. He tells you it can only identify a sequence from that thing, and he tells you it matches any sickness the body could have. And that's because medicine in general is founded on germ theory, which is a lie. Béchamp versus Lafleur in the 1800s, Béchamp smacked him. Hardcore smacked him. His evidence didn't even claim true at all, but we know. You go back to 1600. You can look at all of this stuff around science. You'll see it's all manipulated. It's not if, it's when and how much. So, you don't need medicine. If you treat the body with the herbs of the earth and things like that, you don't need to. Honestly, guys, like up until recently, like pretty much in a lot of my life and stuff like that, I have drank an insane amount of alcohol from 27. I'm 37 now. But from 27 to 37, I never really drank before that a whole lot. I drank an insane amount of alcohol. For me to even look like this, for my skin to be this good, honestly, I should have died a lot. Not from alcohol. I'm talking about the things I did on alcohol. I had many times in my life I should have died. And I had many times in my life that like my physical stuff could have killed me, okay? And I don't say it to toot my own horn. I'm saying I came from the gutter. We want to talk about that kind of saying, taken in a different context. I came from the gutter of health, the armpit of health, and I restored it. You know, hallelujah. Thanks, praise to be to above for all the knowledge that and wisdom I've been blessed with. But the truth is, it's all basic. My niece's cancer, stage 4, 8 weeks later, gone. tumor so big she was passing out. I didn't do anything. I fed her. I cleaned her out. She lost all the weight she had. Everything boosted up. The hardest chemo and radiation couldn't kill her while we were doing this. She was losing weight, said she was getting better, sexier, curvier, while she was dying, right? And then 8 weeks later, this is amazing, the doctor said. Whatever. It was simple. Feed the body. Clean it out. Roll and restore. I'm not even going to roll today. I'm probably going to come back on here. I got tomorrow off. I'll probably do another one, so I won't be fasting. I've learned that I probably will come on here once a week and do my, I'll probably just talk fasted. I haven't eaten any food and I barely drink any water since about 6 o'clock last night. And it's almost 2 o'clock my time. I'll go to 6 and then do it. I've been doing it for weeks now, so it's easy now. I just got to control my testiness. That's it. It kicks up whatever bad stuff you have in your behaviors. It really does. Yeah, across my arms. That's the side of like inside mental. It kicks up and tells you. Across your arms, it's like a defense mechanism. That's like the guarding. But in truth, yeah, like my testy attitude, that's always my anger and stuff like that. It's always been my thing, my hostility and stuff. But I'm telling you guys, when you get into it, I have my bursts, but they're way more controlled and they're way few and far between. And the truth you need to understand about that is like when I started drinking and giving my points there's a reason why that guy was super cool to drink with for a period of time, and then he became a super jerk. Okay, his toxicity built up, his neurotransmitters went down and diminished. The ability for his body to mitigate stress, onset stress, active, real-time stress, situational stress that hits you in the face and you don't know what to do but just handle it and deal with it. It makes it to where your brain and smoke comes out your ears instead of you methodically going through a process and understanding what is going on before you react. But if you look when somebody's hostile, drunk, or whatever, even too high, I've been too high, you get the wrong weed. So I tell people, you smoke cannabis. I grow cannabis, I smoke cannabis, use cannabis in numerous ways. I have for 22 years. But I'm also a super advocate for the medicine behind it. So if you're going to sit here and be like, my indica, my sativa, you're just smoking dope. You don't have any idea what you're smoking. And you might be able to look up the terpenes and then over time figure out like what you're smoking. But if you don't understand the terpenes, which are in effect what cause what you feel, each one of them, you're just smoking dope. You might find one that works and then good for you, okay? But until you really get into the terpenes of, linalool, mercy, and sedatives, really going to put you back and make you chill. Alpha and beta binding together is like Adderall, no side effects, as long as you have like linalool and mercy to calm it down. If you get into, limonene, too high amounts of limonene will make you freak out, even though it's an anti-anxiety terpene. You get into terpene, it's the couch lock terp. It'll put you on the couch, you won't want to get up. But you can get into all the different things of that, and that's when it gets into medicine. You don't just walk up and be like, can I get that upper or that downer? You don't do that when you go to a pharmacy. You would never do that in medicine. You surely shouldn't do that with weed, I'm telling you. But when you get into alcohol, you see those burst moments, or somebody with too high of a sativa or something in weed, and it just sets them off. Or somebody with too high of a limonene. That's what I stay away from limonene, because it makes me angry. Like testing. And I just put the weed away and you throw it in the trash or give it to somebody. I can't handle it. But there's certain liquors people can't handle, certain beers people and wines people can't handle, foods they can't handle. Like we can't look at anything and generalize it because it's like, oh, it's my cannabis, dog. It's my favorite drink. Oh, it makes you freaking psycho, dude. So maybe it shouldn't be your favorite drink. So if you think about all these things and actually assess, the whole purpose of this talk right now is just to think about the things that are being transmitted to you. Your foot hurts. Don't put a bigger soul on it. Don't extinguish the signal. Receive the signal, interpret the signal, understand the signal, and make an assessment based on that signal, and then make a plan to resolve it, whatever it is. Sometimes it's not even resolved. Sometimes it's an optimal improvement. Sometimes you're trying to be a better athlete. But overall, guys, you need to look at the things that are coming in and then also realize these things that you're not looking at, like detoxing every 3 months and doing a parasite flush with it. Insane. I mean, you want to lose weight and never gain it again? I'll never gain weight again, guys. Seriously, you're never going to put weight on me, okay? And I always had to fight to gain weight. But I'll never struggle to gain muscle either because I keep my pathways cleared. I work out for a couple of weeks and I'll blow up and gain 10 pounds. It's not like I gain 10 pounds. It's just I fill out my muscle mass, fill it up better, and it just holds it better because I'm sustaining it at that. And I eat more food. But this is me like kind of like my shrunken regular day-to-day chill kind of body. If I go apply some energy to it and stuff, it'll puff up. But now I have to fight it from sucking up from all my work. When you do that, you'll never gain weight again. You'll never struggle with weight. Your skin will always look beautiful. You'll never have any of these problems, okay? It's all myth. You don't get older and get a bunch of crap. You get older and get stupid because they tell you things that are a lie, and then you become just inherently ignorant. Is better than stupid. But I felt real stupid when I found all this stuff out. I'm like, wow, what a moron. What an idiot that I was to even let somebody teach me something that I didn't even take a second to go look into. Or I didn't even take a second to go into the alternative and figure out what's the opposite of this, because I just like to just defy. It's my natural nature. Oh, you're never going to make it once you go to college. Okay, I didn't go to college. And I just told him I was never going to. I told him right from that moment, you should never have said that to me. And it was the best thing I ever did. College is absolutely stupid in so many levels. And for people like me, so many people thrive in it. But for me, it would have been a very stupid thing. That's exactly what I meant by that. College is not stupid. But I'm the person who just picks everything apart. And if there's 1 ounce of dishonesty in it, I'm not going to take it to the bank. I'm not going to make a thesis on something that I don't believe so somebody can base their career on it just so I can regurgitate that information after I effectively pass the test to get a piece of paper that says that I'm not smarter than you are, which is just dumb. It's all really dumb. And everything that drives us away from the things that will heal us most, Sarah just showed up, is the things that they've lied to us about. 7, 8 years ago, that was what it was. I came out of the lies of Western medicine. I came into the truth, and even further than deeper into science and quantum physics and different things. I came out of that in 2015, the lies about all of that. And that's when I just lost my pursuit, my drive to do a PhD in quantum biology. No thanks. There's too much science, isn't it? But all these things that they've hidden from you, all these things like detoxing, all this stuff, I coach you through this for free. You have to buy the stuff to do it, but that's it. This isn't like some huge investment. I try and do stuff for nothing. So I'm never trying to get your money. I'm just happy you guys even watch this stuff. But all these things equate to all the stuff that is bugging you the most. When you full moon stretch and you get these things in, you're going to look the way, feel lighter, all these things. You start cleansing the internal. Plus, one spawns the other. You can do the outside of the physical and everything. Those physical trigger points are a representation of something wrong inside too. So when you eliminate those, you just turned on a spot in your system to run better. Okay. So think about these things, guys. I love you. I really appreciate you even watching this stuff. Please encourage me with things to do or talk about in this. I'm going to post this one up for free so everybody can see that I'm doing this kind of talk on here. But encourage me with things that you want me to talk about. Encourage me with things that you have questions on. And use me, guys. Like, I'm here to serve. I serve the Most High. That's it. I don't care about money, stuff like that. If you want to give me a donation, cool. That's why I switched my whole business to donations. I don't care. I've never had a problem with money. I have a problem with being able to manage my money in the past and stuff like that. But I've never had a problem with being blessed with money, So it makes no sense to chase money. And I encourage you guys to never chase money. Always chase your passion, even if it's just going to suck for a while, because it's kind of the test to endure. But use me, guys. Anything you need help with, anything you want help with, please. I'm glad to offer a few moments of my time whenever I have it. And then I'll follow up with you again whenever I have it. It's just a thing. I do it for free, and then it's just a matter of like my list builds, and whenever I can get back to you, I will, And if people want like more, then they just buy some one-on-one time or whatever like that, They just donate for some time or whatever. But most people never really need to. If it's just a few moments, we can conquer a lot because I give you things that are the root solve for your issues. And it worked for me, okay? I'm the biggest pain in the butt ever. I fought everything. I changed everything. I regurgitated it all. I was super defiant, okay? As defiant as you can come. And I fixed myself. Well, he fixed me. but I went through the motions and did it. And it's not that hard. It sucks. And it's grueling and tedious and repetitive. And then a year or two in, you're like, whoa, this is what life is like. It makes you really smile. Like you thought you were smiling before. I got people who say they're happy, hippie, everything like that. And I put them through this stuff and there's just a negativity inside them they didn't even realize. Like they knew it was there. I didn't know it was there. They put on a good show. But even the best of us, this changes everybody, okay? And if you're not doing a parasite flush, herbal parasite flush, every 3 months, and you're not cleansing every 3 months and doing a duration-based detox cleanse, you are not living. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good your diet is. You're not living. Your organs don't do everything for you. You're not going to tell me that I had a shredded six-pack following the best diets and all this stuff my whole life as like top corporate personal trainer there ever was. And then you're going to tell me that I didn't like do everything everybody else did, and I had the six-pack and aesthetics, quote unquote, the superficial lie to say that I was super healthy and had no reason to do a detox. I mean, I have no parasites, right? Like everybody says. I lost 15 pounds over 5, 6 years of cleansing. And nothing changed. My clothes fit the same. Okay, I still wear the same mediums, all right? My arm still pushes it up. That's how I know if I'm getting too skinny. It still fits in there the same. My chest still pops out here. It doesn't look like I can't see it. These are my indicators so I don't freak out on my body, all right? But I'm just telling you, I lost 15 pounds and my waist was the only thing that got smaller. My hips came closer together because my colon got deflated and all the carbons that built up in it. I don't care. Everybody's got metals. Everybody's got parasites. I'll go in metals next time. I really want to talk about metals because metals are what make you angry. They're a thing that kicks up to it. And when I chelated metals, I got really, really angry. Like it just kicks stuff up. So I want to talk about that and go over it because people do it and they don't tread carefully. They go too hard at it. So I love you guys. Thank you for watching this. This is a different one that I wanted to mix up. I want to do one when I'm not fasting for foam rolling and I'm off tomorrow too. So I'm going to do that. So I know a lot of you guys are going to be celebrating tomorrow. So maybe it can be something that I'll post up and you guys can join. We don't celebrate it, so I'll be finding things to do with my time. So